Have you ever noticed that while you're in a relationship, so often you focus on the things that are going wrong, the things that annoy you, the daily kind of things that are just in your face and you just don't like, or you focus on what's wrong with the relationship or what you wish that you would have. And then when the relationship ends, all you can think about is the most beautiful and most connected moments. Your mind comes up with just the incredible moments of like, I remember when we went on this trip. I remember our first Valentine's Day together. I remember that Christmas that we got snowed in. Whatever it is, your brain comes up with the most incredible images of like togetherness and wholeness and connectedness. Why do we do that to ourselves? Hi, welcome to day number 26, and today we're going to be talking about how to pick yourself back up after a relationship ends. And even if you're not going through a breakup right now, or you're single, or you're in a wonderful relationship, yay! This day still has some beautiful nuggets for you, because I know as a highly sensitive, there are going to be times where you're going to be pondering, what am I going to do if this relationship ever ends? You know, you have a scary moment of like, we're not as connected. What if he's pulling away? What if this is ending, right? So these tools, powerful tools, are here to serve you, and they're going to be good no matter where you are in your life right now. They're also going to translate into just an ending, a big ending of some sorts, right? What are we going to be talking about today? I'm going to talk about all the tools that you already have, that you already learned about, right? In these 33 days, we've already done 25 of these 33 days of feeling incredibly empowered as a highly sensitive. I've given you so many tools. I'm not going to overwhelm you with more. I'm going to integrate. I'm going to tell you, hey, you already have that tool. You already know what to do with this, right? We'll talk about finding yourself again after a breakup, separating your emotions from your ex-partner's emotions, what to lean on when life gets tough, right? We did a whole day on this. And then, of course, journaling. And then on the second point, we're going to be talking about understanding, right? The second point is going to be understanding pain and then finding a new perspective. That was already it. These are the two big points we're going to be talking about today. And then I'll give you bonus, stick around to the end. These are the best. I came up with these right at the end of me scripting what I'm going to be talking about today during day 26. And I came up with the number one statement that has helped me to like instantly soothe me when I'm going through a breakup, and I've gone through a lot. Relationships kind of was the one thing that I chose in my life that I wanted to master, that I wanted to figure out, that I wanted to, it's the most important thing in my life, to be with the partner who, gets me and I feel completely connected with, and I can share my life with, and I can feel challenged by, and I can grow with, and I can feel completely at ease with. It took me a lot of relationships to find that right guy, and to also grow into the kind of being that I needed to be in order to attract and even be okay and enjoy that kind of relationship, right? So I'll give you that number one statement that has helped me to feel soothed whenever I go through a breakup. Because yes, even when I knew it wasn't the right relationship, breakups still hurt. They hurt. And at the very end, I will give you the number one thing to do. The number one thing, the only thing really that you need to focus on when you're going through something incredibly challenging, like a breakup, like a relationship ending. So let's dive right in, right? Point number one, what are the tools that you already have? Finding yourself again. Oh my gosh, have you ever gotten out of a relationship and you're going, I don't even know who I am anymore, right? This fear of like, I've lost a huge part of myself. I came out of a relationship once thinking, I don't know what kind of music I like anymore, because with this guy I like this, with this guy I liked that. You know, I don't know what kind of food I like anymore. I don't know what kind of, well, books I always knew. See, books is always something else for me, my spirituality, my health, my personal growth. Books are always the one link that I can kind of take to get back to myself. What is that link for you, right? Where do you feel lost? What areas do you feel lost? And can you shift that feeling of like sadness or fear that you are lost? Can you shift that into curiosity? Can I be curious? Can I be curious and go on the path of self-discovery? Oh my gosh. And then go back to day number, I want to say it was day number 2, where we talked about your bucket list. What do you want to experience on this glorious earth in this lifetime? And your bliss list. What are those 5-minute little things that you enjoy doing that just bring a smile to your face, that make you feel all tingly inside, that just feel good to you? When you go back to that day and you go through the exercises, and if you already have, and now you're going through a breakup or whatever challenging thing it is, then look back. If you've made that list, you've made a bucket list, and you've made a bliss list, yes, awesome. You have that tool, and you can look back through it, and you can be like, oh, this connects me back to who I am. And even if you go down that bliss list and you're like, nope, I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing this, that's okay. Wait for that very last thing that I'm going to be telling you today, and it's going to come back around. And also be curious. Be willing to explore. What is it that I want to do right now? Maybe I need something totally, completely new. Maybe there's some kind of hobby that I was always too afraid to take up. Well, right now, I don't have an anchor, so I can do whatever, right? That's the beautiful thing about feeling untethered. You can feel like you're just swimming in an ocean, you're just flailing about, or you can feel like I am free. I am soaring. I am bound by nothing and no one. I'm going to take this opportunity to get to know myself on a whole different level. Mindset is everything. This is why we do this kind of work. Also, the 7 key areas, right? Day number 1, your 7 key areas. You can look through each one of these areas to reconnect to who you are, to find yourself again, to find your rhythm again, to set small little goals in any or each of these in order to have a focus to kind of pull you through to the other side, right? Day 8, we talked about separating your emotions from somebody else's emotions. This is incredibly important during a breakup or just before a breakup. Gosh, honestly, I know some people frown upon ending a relationship over, I don't know if I would do it over text message, but I have definitely done it via a letter or like a longer email, right? Because I am a highly sensitive, and I know some of you are incredibly brave and you can sit in front of this person and you can talk about a breakup. Anytime I would do that, I would get so entangled in my partner's emotions because he didn't want this breakup and he was like almost begging me to stay, and he was trying to remind me of all the wonderful and beautiful times we had together. And gosh, I would just get swept off and swept away by his emotions, going, oh, he's right, we're meant to be together, oh, I can't leave now. And then 2-3 weeks later, I was in the same spot, in the same like, now I remember why I wanted to end this relationship. Now I remember that I have outgrown this relationship. Now I remember what I am searching for that he's just not willing to give to me, right? So for me, it was incredibly difficult to do it in person, even just like to see his handsome smile, or to like, gosh, you see his hair and you just remember like gliding your hands through his hair and you're going, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I'm not going to be able to cuddle with him anymore. I'm going to be all on my own, right? So it's so hard to do this in person, to separate your emotions from his. You might, just like we talked about when you have conflicts, right? Just the other day we talked about conflicts. You might be walking in wanting to end this relationship, and then he takes the conversation in something totally different direction. And you end up being like, yeah, it's right. I didn't want this anyway. You have to know your own emotion, what you want. There was definitely a time where I was like, why did I never bring my partner into that conversation? Why was it always me in my mind mulling it over so long until I had made a decision? Stay in this relationship or go, stay in this relationship or go, right? At that point in time, I did not have the tools yet to understand myself and to know how to communicate and to know what it was that I really was looking for and searching for in a relationship. Ugh, now I have more tools. Now I know better what I want. Now I understand. Oh, this is what I was talking about. I would make this decision in my own mind without bringing my partner into it. It's beautiful if you can have a conversation, right? This last time when I broke up with a guy, it was a long conversation over multiple months until we really agreed that we had lived as much as we could in this relationship, right? It can go apart like this. It doesn't have to be a stark contrast of one of you just really, I'm out. You know, it can be a different way. But if you know that you're going to get entangled and that he absolutely or she doesn't want to end the relationship, but you know firmly where you stand, I think it's absolutely okay to write a letter, to explain yourself in that way, and to say, I'm sorry, I cannot handle the emotions. It won't serve either of us if I'm just going to be swept up by your emotions. So I have to do it in this way, right? Look back over day 8 of how to fortify yourself. Of course, you want to leave yourself open for communication, right? So hopefully you can give this other person some closure, but at the same time, their emotions are their responsibility, right? Particularly, this is one of the big reasons why I wanted to put this in these 33 days. I have definitely stayed in relationships way too long because I didn't want to hurt the other person's feeling, because I knew that it would be just a really, really hard shift for the other person, and just feeling like, well, what if this person is going to go down into depression, you know? Luckily, I've never been at a point where I felt like my partner or soon to be ex-partner would commit suicide. I think that would be, wow, incredibly difficult. At that point, you definitely need a professional to step in to help you and to give you the tools to then give this other person the tools. But it should still never be a reason to stay in a relationship, right? A relationship, you're meant to feel free to live out your truest love and your truest self, your truest authenticity. And that's the biggest thing, right? The biggest question you should ask yourself, if you're just staying in it for the other person because you know they would be incredibly hurt, ask yourself, would you want the other person to do that for you? Just to stay in it so that you won't have to go through difficult emotions? No, you want to be loved. You want to be cherished. You want to be adored and held for everything that you are. So it's really selfish to stay in a relationship if you think the other person can't handle the breakup, because you're denying this person the incredible love that is waiting for them, right? Remind yourself of that. And you're also denying it for yourself. You can meet that person. Give yourself that chance. Give your partner that chance. Yes? Our next point, what to lean on when life gets tough, right? We did a whole day on this. Look back, it was just a few days ago. What to lean on when life gets tough, right? Think about, oh yeah, it was day 24. Look at the authors, look at the books, look at the videos, look at the whatever it is that you need, your mantras, your affirmations, your quotes. What is it that you need to hold on to? Your deep, deep beliefs, right? Look over your list. Another great tool that you put into your toolbox through these 33 days by doing the work. You made a I do believe list on day 6, yes? An I do believe list, because we were talking about how to shift emotions, and one of them is you can always remind yourself of your deep, deep beliefs, right? Your I do believe list will help you out of that, and hopefully one of these beliefs, hopefully you wrote down some beliefs about relationship, about love, about togetherness. Yes, these beliefs will help you. Now, even just beliefs like, I know that I am meant to find true love. I know that I am meant to be truly and deeply loved for who I am. Yes? Also, under this point, I wrote down, and this is something I have in my relationship course. If you're interested in this course, let me know. I'm just about to put it up on my website to sell, but also if you're interested in buying these 33 days, oh my goodness, if you're one of the first 10 people who buys this course, once I put it up for sale, I will give you this course for free. It's like a 5-video course on relationships, right? On how to truly create the deep love relationship that you seek. Oh, so worth it. One of those points was, are you making him or her, your partner, are you making your partner your safe place? Because that is all wonderful and good while you're in a relationship, but when you're going through a breakup, when you're going through the relationship ending, if he or she is your only safe place, you're not going to want to let go. You're going to have a really, really hard time let go. And I love being incredibly close to my partner. I love the idea of making him everything in my life. I love the idea of he is my ultimate safe place, right? At the end of the day, when I've had a really hard day or really hard news, what I need is to lay my head on his chest, feel his heartbeat, feel his arms around me. This is where I feel safe. But if you make this person your only safe place, it's going to be really hard when that relationship ends, right? So what else can you make your safe place, right? We went through that too. We did an exercise of that too before we were processing deep emotions, right? Day 10, we created a safe place. Where's your safe place? Now this can be in your mind, right? We practiced in your mind, in your visualizations, in your body. Where can you feel safe? Where can you feel loved? Where can you feel nurtured? And then hopefully you also have a person or two in your life who you can go to for a hug, who you can go to just for physical closeness in terms of, I am here with you. I am holding your hand through this. You're going to be okay, right? Shifting that, knowing that, I'm going to have to purposely change my safe place, right? I have to go back to my own safe place. Also, I love Abraham Hicks, and they were always talking about, right? One of my favorite spiritual teachers, channeled by Esther Hicks. And they're always talking about your number one relationship isn't with this other person in your life. Your number one relationship always has to be with you. Your connection to you, your connection to your higher self. And I was always like, yeah. You don't know what it's like to be physical, to be human, to be in this world and to fall in love and to feel like you can't breathe without this person. Right? It feels incredible to have this deep connection, to make this person your everything. And then at the same time, when you go through a lot of breakups and a lot of changes, you realize that, wow, the only thing really stable is you and your connection to you. That is the connection that will always be there, right? Even if it doesn't break apart between your partner, there are going to be tough times. There are going to be challenging times. But if you nurture and work on that relationship with you to your higher self, you can always count on that. You can always fall back on that. Yes? We're going to talk more about soulmates, don't you worry. I am like a deep romantic. I really am. Journaling. We had a whole session on journaling, right? Look back on day 10 and processing deep emotions. Yes, journaling has been so powerful, and I will continue after I finish filming these 33 days. I will continue to read my journals and put them on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, please. I would love to have you in my community of highly sensitive beings on their path to empowerment, to feeling incredibly authentic. Yes, I will read so many of my journals with so many different relationships and how I navigated through this and what I learned from them and how I could come out on the other end Journaling has helped me so much, and it's so awesome to look how I journaled through relationships ending, right? It's like there it would go from like being mad at this guy to like, oh my gosh, I'm still in love with you. I so miss you. I don't understand why this had to end. To like writing a letter to his higher self to get deeper understanding what went on. To just writing in order to soothe myself. You have so many tools when you remember your journal and writing into your journal, getting your emotions out onto paper. Yes, or even like directly writing a letter to your ex in your journal, right? I did that many times too. The things that I never got to say, the things that I still wanted you to understand, the side of me you never got to experience. Write it down. You don't need to send this letter. Probably better if you don't, but you have it for yourself. Pretend like you are writing it to him and that he will see it, or she, right? Our second point today, understanding. Understanding pain and then being curious, right? What is a new perspective? Understanding pain, my goodness, go back through the days that we talked about different emotion, right? Processing deep emotions, and then what, day 10 through 13, where we went through anger, we went through frustration, we went through overwhelm, we went through sadness and depression, we went through them, and then be curious. What is this emotion here telling me? What is it wanting to convey to me? And in Bashar's question, right? What must I believe is true in order to feel the way that I do? What are those deep beliefs? What am I most afraid of, right? We did that journaling exercise too. What am I so afraid of? What does this breakup mean to me? Does that mean I'm unlovable? Does it mean that I'll never find the right guy? Does it mean that I totally suck at relationship? Does it mean that there's something so deeply wrong with me that no one's ever going to want me? Is it that I can never find the right guy, that I can't ever be pleased, that the guy for me doesn't really exist? What is it that your mind is telling you, that your fear is telling you? Wow, those are some incredible things to know and then to work through the process, yes? I had this feeling a couple of times when a relationship ended, especially when it ended abruptly and when he ended it. And in my mind, I'm like, you haven't even seen the best of me. I haven't even gotten to a place in this relationship where I felt truly safe in order to open up and show you who I really am. All this beauty inside me, right? You don't even know who I am. How can you break up with me? You don't even know who I am. And then the second question was like, well, why doesn't he know who I am? Why wasn't I ready to show him? Why did I want to wait so long to show him these things? Yeah. Then you go back to like day number 3 or day number 16 and 17, right? Living your authentic truth and embracing your own self-worth, right? How can I show up more authentically in this relationship, or in that case, in the next relationship, yeah? What was I holding back, and why was I holding back? New perspective. Can you find a new perspective? Yes, for me, it helps to think about the spiritual perspective, right? Law of attraction. What is the spiritual perspective? For me, I have come to know, or come to believe, that the reason why we are attracted and get matched up with a particular person that we end up in a relationship is because we're both working on similar themes, and because a relationship is the most profound teacher, the most in your face, the most deep in emotions, because you make such a deep connection and bond. It is such a powerful mirror. And by you getting matched up with somebody who's working on the same kind of theme, or in reverse, right? He's already got a lot of this and you need to learn or want to learn about it, and you in turn can help him with something else. I believe that is why we are matched up in relationships. Yes? I still find it amazing when people can find each other very early in life, and then they can just flow with each other and dance with each other and uncover these things and then still stay in this relationship. I think it's beautiful. But for me, what I've come to realize is that I needed different partners at different times in order to work through different aspects of me, of what I wanted to learn, of how I wanted to grow, right? Even in one journal, I remember writing, I want to understand everything about love, every aspect of love. Well, how are you going to do this? Probably not with one person. I mean, maybe that would be incredible. But I knew that I wanted to learn a lot of different aspects. And I still believe in love, right? In romantic love, in soulmates, in twin flames. Oh my gosh, incredible. But at the same time, I am also so incredibly grateful that I had always just the right partner in the right chapter of my life, right? It's like I always had just what I needed in order to grow, in order to learn, in order to understand, in order to have it back, reflected back to me what I needed during that period of my life. And I got the chance to not only love one man, right? But to have my heart so deeply connected with several, right? I would say at least 3 big ones that I'm so emotionally tied with in a just most beautiful way, right? And then some love goes into that, friendship, into the deep connection love versus, yes, for me, it's always just been like one intimate partner who I have that deep connection with at one time, right? But it doesn't make the other connections less meaningful. It's just a different position. Yes, a different segment, a different session, right, in my life. But if you can start to think about it in that way, then really no relationship was for nothing, right? That's one of the big things I think highly sensitive have a hard time with, is that we feel like it was time lost. It was all for nothing. It was pain that was just, it was too painful, and then it ended up not working out, so it wasn't even worth it, right? If you can shift that to like, oh my gosh, we have had an incredible connection, even if it doesn't mean we're going to spend the rest of our life together as a couple. We had this incredible segment of our lives that we spent together. So powerful. See, I put that as like the big point, like decide, right? I always love that when you get to, because it so comes down to like decisions, right? Make a decision. Make that decision. I'm going to read it to you because I formulated it so beautifully. Just because we're not together as a couple or will ever talk again doesn't mean we didn't have a special connection, right? I believe that we are eternally connected. I believe that I, at any time, can choose to speak to the higher self of any of the guys that I've ever dated. We had, and therefore always will have, a connection in some way, right? Remember, sometimes you can just think of somebody and this person calls you, or you think of somebody and 2 days later the person was like, oh yeah, I was thinking of you, right? We are connected in a way that so many times we don't acknowledge in this world. So give yourself that gift to say it's not meaningless. Just because there might not be a future doesn't mean this time was meaningless. There was incredible. What was it, right? Ask yourself about this. What did I learn in this relationship? How did I grow through this relationship? How did I change through this relationship? What did I realize or understand in a deeper way in this relationship? So often it can be about what you don't want, or what you don't want to, what's it called? How you don't want to act in the future, right? What can you own? Who were you in the relationship? And is that who you want to be in that relationship that you truly seek? Gosh, it's so powerful to understand what you desire, who you are, and who you want to be, where you want to take this next relationship. Also, when you're going through this and saying, well, this relationship was not meaningless to me, but what if it was meaningless to him? Or what if he didn't learn anything from this relationship, right? 2 things. Number 1, you don't get to choose. He gets to choose that. Your partner gets to choose that, right? This person who you're no longer in a relationship with, this person gets to choose what this relationship meant to him or her. that doesn't negate what it means to you. It can still be incredibly meaningful to you. And also, the second part, why are you torturing yourself? Decide in your own mind the best version, right? How do you want your ex to think about you and about this relationship? Why are you torturing yourself with the worst version, right? The most painful version. What is the best version? And then think about that. Yes? Yes. The number one statement that always soothes me when I go through a breakup is, if it's truly meant to be, we will find a way back together, right? So I'm accepting that at this time, this is not the moment to be together. We are not compatible at this moment. But I'm leaving that window open. I'm saying, if this is truly meant to be, we will find our way back together. And you can either think of this of like opening the bird cage and just letting both of you fly. For me, I love horses. So what I think about is, I don't want to tame the Mustang. I don't want to have a corral, a fenced in area where I'm keeping this wild and incredibly beautiful spirit. I want to set him free. I want him to run off. I want him to go and explore and do whatever he thinks he needs to do in his life. And I will do the same. And if at some point we find our way back together, oh my gosh, how powerful is that? Yes? That is when you feel, so deeply connected because you found your way back together. So give yourself and the other person that opportunity. And that helps you so much in the moment. And then believe me, once you're 3 months, 10 months, 3 years down the line, you're like, I understand now. Then it's not so fresh. Then you're not so entangled anymore in each other's emotions. And it's easier to see, is this just a place for a friendship? Is this just a place for like somebody who was with me for a certain amount of time in my life, and now it's okay that we walked our separate ways? Or is there maybe something more that will come in the future? Leave yourself open, but soothe yourself with this statement in the moment. Okay. And the number one thing to remember, gosh, if you're just like in dire straits and you're just like, oh my gosh, in so much pain and you can't think of anything else, write this down somewhere where you can find it. The number one thing and the only thing that you need to do. Are you ready? Are you writing this down? The only thing that you need to do in the moment is find a way to feel better. That's all you got to do. Find a way to feel better. Abraham Hicks always say, find a way to feel good, right? And why? Why? Tony Robbins calls this the resourceful state, because when you can get yourself into just a slightly better feeling place, from that place, you're at a whole different vibrational level. And there you have access to everything that you need, right? That's why you don't have to try so hard. You just have to get onto this level, this vibrational wavelength of just feeling better, just ease, right? Because from there, you'll have access to your higher self, right? You're connected. You can hear the guidance. Guidance is always there. It's just a matter if you're tuned to it, if you're allowing yourself to hear it, to perceive it. You have the wisdom from angels, from your higher self, right? That you can now perceive. You now remember all your tools, all your resources, right? Because you're on this higher vibrational state. And you get inspirations and insights. So the only thing ever there is to do is to find yourself, to find a way to get into a better feeling place. And we've already given you tools for that, right? Look back over your tools to shift from any emotion. You can get into a state of ease. You can get into a state of peace. You can get into a state of even love, right? Yes, you can absolutely do this. Or day 10, processing those deep emotions to get yourself into a better feeling place. Even if you need to distract yourself a little bit, right? If like focusing on one of your key areas and really honing in on like a goal that you want to set, or distract yourself with your bliss list, with your bucket list. You have the tools. All you need to do is get yourself to a better feeling place in this moment. Ah, so beautiful. Oof. All right, let's draw a super quick card. We could do it. We could do it. Woo! I have a client coming, so if you hear a knock on the door, you know that I gotta go. All right, here we go. We have, let's draw this one. Ah, okay, we'll draw this one then. Let's see. Earlier disappointments were just rehearsal for the great stuff coming your way. Ah, yes it is. Never regret love. No matter how blind, it improved your vision. No matter how foolish, it made you wiser. And no matter how generous, it made you more. Hubba hubba, the universe. Ah, what a perfect card to wrap up what we're talking about today. Oh my gosh. It's an important one, and I have so much more to say on the topic. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Stay in this wonderful group that we're building of highly sensitives. Oh, thank you for being here, for doing the work, for uplifting yourself and everyone around you. The world is a better place because you are taking the time to do this work. Thank you so much, and I will see you